What market centers are you guys with?
I know he's, because I,
So I'm with the Manassas office.
Awesome. Good crew over there. How about you, Brian? Your mic's off, Brian. Your mic is off.
There we go. Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now?
Gotcha. Keller Williams West,
West,
Richmond.
Richmond West.
Yeah,
Got it.
yeah, Richmond West. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. What'd you guys do this week? Anything good?
Got outside and enjoyed the weather. Rode bikes.
That works. All right. So what we're going to do today is today's day one of our 8-day classes. We teach classes once a day from 10 to 11, and we'll take a deep dive into all aspects of command. And you'll hear different conversations from me. My name is David Donaldson. I am the Regional Technology Director for the Virginia, West Virginia region. And then along with me, I have my Market Center Tech trainers, and we have one that represents just about every market center in the region. So you may recognize some friendly faces. For both of you, you'll have the same person, Kyle Holleran, who covers both Richmond and Manassas. So he's your go-to guy on the ground for all things command. Today we kick off with orientation. So as I mentioned, it's 2 weeks, 8 classes, and getting into command. There's a couple of important things that I like to highlight from the beginning. Is why. Why are we jumping into something as a real estate company where a lot of other companies have services or platforms that we may have heard of or we might have available to us to use? That's a very valid question. It's important to understand that our industry, I don't know if you're new, if you've been with us for a little while, has been under attack, right, for all intents and purposes, from a couple of different angles, right? You guys heard of Zillow?
Yep.
And Zillow likes to claim that they're not a broker. Well, guess what? They're a broker, right? Licensed in the state of Virginia. They're a broker, okay? Venture capital, all kinds of money coming in to disrupt the real estate industry, all with one goal in mind. You guys know what that goal is? Put us out of business. They don't want realtors. They want door openers. They want people that they can pay $50 to go open a door, and they own enough companies now to where they can write contracts. They can be the fiduciary, they can be the broker, and they want your commission. So that's the fight. So Keller Williams and Gary, a couple of years ago, took on, and actually has been fighting this for a while. There used to be an effort called Project Upstream, where Gary was trying to organize all the brokerages to put up and have the good fight and not share data with Zillow. But the agents, and more importantly, NAR, kind of sold us out, right? NAR gave up a lot of permission sets, sold Realtor.com, believe it or not, and gave Zillow a whole lot of control and access to our listings without having a lot of forethought about what that would look like many years down the road. So 4 years ago now, we began this journey of building command. And I, like a lot of other realtors, and I've been a licensed realtor since 2007, so I'm not just a technology coach. I am a licensed realtor and have been for a number of years. I lacked the understanding of why we were bringing all this in-house. I was fortunate enough to actually be in a room with Gary, and at the time, our former president, Josh, and ask a lot of poignant questions. And I got a really clear understanding from them as to why. Like, I understood Zillow, I understood a little bit better than most, and I was open to it, but I understood a lot of realtors relied on it at the time and paid them a lot of big money for lead generation. But being in that room and listening to Gary passionately talk about what's happening to our industry and how we're giving away the controls changed how I felt about a lot of this. And understanding that the reason that we're building command, right, the challenges that we may have with it now, but it's, believe me when I tell you that it works incredibly well compared to where it was, and where it's going to be will be outstanding. But we still have some growing pains that we're dealing with. It's just honest, right? Where it is now, it'll do your business just fine. And the reason we have it is so that our data is never at risk again, right? So if you've been with KW for some time, this will ring some bells. So we used to use a platform called Market Leader. About 4 years ago, Market Leader was bought by Zillow. Okay, that was the first really kind of, we're personally under attack, and our system was dying on the vine because they weren't putting any money into it. They had later sold it off to a company called Constellation. Then they bought Loop, also another one of the platforms that Keller Williams utilized, right? Still, even with those two acquisitions, a lot of the agents didn't get it. What happened this past year? What did Zillow purchase? Showing Time. That routed a lot of cages. So with KW's own platform, what is never at risk is your data, and never the ability to sell the platform to a third, because it's a third-party platform that can be gobbled up by venture capital or Zillow. So understanding that while we have some challenges and things we're improving upon, the platform is ours. The platform is yours. And Gary, right, here's a guy who doesn't have to be investing the billions of dollars that he is investing into technology. Right? Doesn't have to be investing in this platform. He could be hanging out with Jimmy Buffett down in the Florida Keys, calling it a day. He really, company's that large, and he can just run it as a business. But he's investing back into it. And he really, and I can tell you this, having been in the room and talking with him, is that he cares passionately about you. And in a lot of cases, he cares more about you than a lot of the realtors in general care about themselves. And it's pretty amazing. So that's where I come from. So that's why I care so much about the journey that we're on. That's why I care so much about the technology and getting you guys into the platform that you can run your businesses with it. So over the next 8 sessions over 2 weeks, our jobs are to collectively train you. We won't answer everything. You won't learn everything. It's impossible. So it's going to be a journey for you to get better. We'll inform you of everything it can do to just support your business. Now, there are some things that you'll come across that you have to do because your market centers, in order to pay you appropriately, need certain things in place. We'll go over those. And then I will consistently refer you back to your market center tech trainers. You're going to see a list here of who they are if you don't know, of who your go-to person is on the ground inside your market center, because you have help, right? You are not alone. You're not on an island. You have support. You have all the support you need between a person and a lot of online material where I'll show you where to go self-advocate for yourself, where you can find things out. So anyways, I always like to take the first 10 minutes of this first class to kind of tell that story of why Command, why KW, and why now. Some of you know it, some of you don't. Is there any questions around that? What do you guys think about that? Have you guys heard that before? Is this a different spin on that? For everybody else that's on the line, there's about 8 or 9 of you now. If you guys don't mind turning your cameras on for me, it's really hard to lead a session when people are here. It's one thing to be in a class and we have students, right, consumers or agents, where I can look eye to eye when I'm in a Zoom class and I've got 9 blank screens. That's really hard. So if Patrice and Jan and Lucy and Sudai and Marissa and Michelle could turn your cameras on, I would really appreciate it. Thank you. I know we all like to dual task, but for the next 45 minutes, if I can look you in the eyes, that makes me feel like I'm accomplishing my goals. So thank you for that. All right. So we're going to jump into Command here. I'm going to do some screen sharing for you. I'll take you through a couple of slides, and then we'll jump actually into Command itself. Yeah, make sure my PowerPoint is up. Okay, you guys see that slide okay? Awesome. So we just kind of covered the big why, I am recording this session. So we do record all the sessions that we present on, and we will post them to the regional YouTube channel. So you guys will have access to all that as well. I do recommend that you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Ted's going to go ahead and put that link into chat so you guys have that. And if you guys can subscribe and follow the page, every time we post something new, you'll be notified. This is the list of the region's Market Center tech trainers, right? If you've been with us for KW for a while, you may have heard of different, we had tech ambassadors, right? We had directors of innovation, we had all kinds of different things, but what we have is the Market Center tech trainers. And they're a combination, right? Some of them are running teams. Some of them are part of they're all members of the leadership team at this point. Some of them oversee multiple market centers. Some, this is all they do. And like I said, some are in production too. So the hours that they're available to may vary based on the market centers, but I do want you to know who they are, and that every market center does have somebody, although they may cover multiple market centers if you're part of a cluster like I have. So this is that list of the Market Center tech trainers, all skilled and valuable assets for you and your business. All right, so we're going to talk about a couple of things from the setup things. What do you need to have access to? So our email account, right? So your KW email is a Gmail platform, just in case you didn't know. So you're David Donaldson at kw.com, that's Gmail, right? And when it comes to using email in your business, I want you to think about you are running a business. So I challenge you, and I don't want you to take this too personally, but I want you to take a little personally. If you're using an at Gmail, at AOL, at Livewire, at Hotmail, at YouTube, and I see Ruth is laughing, we all have them, but none of you should be using them in your business. You're business owners, you're professionals, and you need to come across that way. And that's a little harsh, but it's truth. Or you should never email anybody, david1realtor@gmail.com. That should not be my email just going out. It's hokey and it's bad. Okay? Use your @KW email at a minimum, right? It's professional, it's branded, it's tied to your business, it's tied to where your license is at. Now, if you are at another level in your business, right, where you've built a business and you're licensed, right, and recognized to do business as something else. Remember, when you get your license, you're allowed to market yourself two ways: your name, David Donaldson, or David Donaldson Realtor. That's it. I can't be Donaldson Home Group. I can't be David #1 Realtor in Ashburn, Virginia. David sells Ashburn. David rocks Nova. I can't do any of that. Sounds good, kind of. In order to do that, for me to be the Donaldson Home Group, okay, there are certain steps that I have to take. And I'll just kind of going to redirect you to the one person in your market center that can help you out with this. That's your broker. Okay. In order for you to be anything other than your name or your name realtor in marketing, that has to be added to your license. It has to be an LLC. It has to be in file at your market center before you can advertise yourself as anything else. Okay. And this is recorded, just so you know, to protect me, my assets, so that I can't have anybody go back to the market saying, well, David said, no, David said get licensed. And David said license your LLC. Okay. But once you do that, okay, then you can market yourself. I could be David at DonaldsonHomeGroup.com. I could own a different domain and send emails through a non-KW, but a professional business entity that I can create through a domain. This is not that class. I just want you to know that there are 3 levels to having a email address, okay, to run your business. One is the freemiums, which we all disagreed was bad. Can we all agree that's bad? Okay. 2 is the KW. At a minimum, use that. Okay. 3, if you are licensed as a business other than just your name, then utilize that to market your business. Questions around setting that up? Who are you going to talk to, Ted? Your broker. Talk to your broker. Okay. So that's Gmail. And we'll go in and we'll walk through setting all that up. Then we have a platform. Yeah.
So it has to be an LLC?
It does. Yes, it does. Has to be an LLC, has to be approved by your market center, has to be attached to your license through Richmond. 100%. All right. So that's email. Okay. So we'll talk about setting that up here in a second. KW Connect, you're going to hear us talk about that. And just so you know, I put these addresses up on here so you guys can bookmark them so you know what you have. Okay. KWConnect.com is a training platform that KW provides. We do live streaming through there, all kinds of live trainings. I'm actually training for this type of class tomorrow through WRI, through a platform called Connect Live, right? Basically, it's our YouTube channel that's private for KW, KWConnect.com. You all have access to it. Your KW user ID and password for Command works on Connect, works on Kelly, works on anything you need to log into, except for email, because that's a Gmail platform, okay? That login and password works the same for all platforms. So we'll look at that here in a little bit. I'll show you some important things from Command, but just so you know what it is, Command is our internal training element. And you may see it connected to Command, but it's not 100% connected. So going direct to connect.com is valuable to you. So knowing that platform. Agent.kw.com, okay? Probably the most important asset for you for self-advocacy inside our entire ecosystem, okay? Answers.kw.com, okay, is essentially Google for all things KW. You can research information, you can get how-to videos, tutorials, fact pages, submit tickets for support, which I will encourage you to work through your Mark Center Tech Trader with. But answers.kw.com, if you don't write anything else down, please write that down. I don't know what happened to somebody drawing on my screen? That's weird. Am I getting hacked? Ted, you messing with me?
Sometimes people, like when they're on their phone and stuff, I've seen it happen a couple of times on regional Zooms.
Swiping.
They,
I just didn't think I had that open. I'll have to take a look.
yeah, sometimes people can do that.
Okay, no worries. All right, so we'll take the next look into that. So what I'm going to do is we're now going to open up. We're talking about self-advocacy. Answers.kw.com, and I'm going to open up Command now. So I'm going to minimize this. Bring up my screen. And the first thing we're going to talk about is, well, that's actually on the screen, isn't it? Is my kw.kw.com. You guys seeing that screen okay? Did that come up? Or are you still seeing the PowerPoint? All right, mykw.kw.com. This is our older platform. It's been around since about 2010, and we are rapidly migrating away from it. However, there's some important elements in here that I do need you to know about from a setup standpoint. So underneath your name, you have a profile, okay? So that profile pushes across to a system that we use called White Pages. And it's basically where all our agents are listed, where you can find every agent inside of KW. And the more information you have about yourself, the better position you're in from a referral standpoint, okay? If anybody needs to send you business or look you up. So underneath the White Page, actually come back. Why did that open up there? There we go. So on your White Pages at the top, you see the ability to add a picture. So I encourage you to do that. Your positions or the market centers that you're in will list there. And basically the rest is a fill in the blank form. Should have all of your contact information in there, okay? The market center in, how to get a hold of you, your cell phone. You no longer need to verify your cell phone on here. It asks you to do it. You don't need to do that anymore. It's going to ask you for biography. We're going to talk about a biography that's over the next couple of days, and I want you to start thinking about your bios, okay? Because there are actually 2 biographies that you're going to want to have in your business, okay? There's an agent to consumer, so basically your marketing piece bio, right? Telling your story. Now, if you've been in the business a little while, then you could talk about how successful you've been. But if you're new to the industry, you can't rely on transactional history because you don't have any yet. And you know what? That's okay. Don't get hung up on the fact that you haven't sold anything yet, because here's the great equalizer, right? We all started at the same place. We all started with 0 transactions in our history, okay? And how did we grow? We grew because it's a relationship business, right? Friends, family, sphere, working hard, open houses. So don't worry or panic that you're not going to come across well because you can't talk to the dynamics of what your history looks like. when you're talking about an online profile, you want to connect with people. So talk about where you're from, where you lived, what are your hobbies, where'd you go to school, what are your likes, what do you, what can somebody say, hey, I relate to that person. So that's what your consumer facing bio should be about, okay? And that's what you'll put here. We'll put it in a couple of places. Secondly, and not on here, but you will actually also have an agent to agent bio. I mentioned earlier that we're going to cover referrals. We'll do it on the last class. Most people don't understand that KW as a whole is the largest real estate referral company in the world. Something we don't talk a whole lot about, but think about it this way. There's over 165,000 KW associates worldwide, okay? We're the number one company in agents, we're the number one company in units, we're the number one company in volume, and we are the number one company in past referrals. I could send them, actually my last 3 checks, because I'm not in production as much as I used to, my last 3 checks over the last 8 weeks now are all from referrals. I sent a referral out to Huntsville, Alabama. I sent a referral to Naples, Florida, and I sent in a referral to business in Gainesville, because I'm not going to Gainesville. Don't take it personally. I'm not going to Gainesville. And that one actually ended up becoming True Transact because it was an investor. So I was able to pass those referrals and track everything that was going on the back end all through Command. So we'll talk about this. So it's a mindset, but agents will look you up online, KW associates. So your bio to them is different than what it is to the general public, right? You in your agent to agent bio, you're going to talk about how many times you've graduated Bold. You're going to talk about Ignite. You're going to talk about being a member of the ALC. You're going to talk about what you do in your business and what makes you successful, or what your focus is on, or what your specialties are, right? That only agents will understand. If I talk about Bold, Ignite, or ALC, or that I'm the regional tech director, or how many times I've been to family reunion mega camp, to the general public, do they care? No. Do other agents care? Sure, absolutely. There are some people that will only refer business to those that are a 5-time Bold graduate. I'm not one of those guys, but I'm just saying there are certain things that are important to other associates in our system, right? There are some people that refer people that run teams. There are some people that refer things to people that are specifically not on teams. There are some people that specifically refer business to brand new agents because they know that their focus 100% is going to be owning that business because they want to grow their business. I've done that. I referred business to people that haven't done anything else. You know why I did that? Because when I looked them up, when I found them, they were online and I could find them. And I didn't care that they hadn't done any business yet. I cared that their online profiles were up to speed and they knew what they were doing to make their general profiles through our ecosystem public. I can't tell you, there's no way for me to track how much business productive agents have lost because they don't have a KW profile inside our own system. There's no way to track that, but I know it happens. So think about the profiles, taking the time, putting the proper information in place, and understand who your audience is, because it does matter. Does that sound good? All right. Also, okay, on this page, there's a couple things I want to highlight to you, okay? So as I go into my market center, I'm in a couple here. So I will go to Falls Church. And at the bottom of my pages, I'm going to see an intranet. Now, at this time, most of the market centers, if not all, are still using an intranet training calendar for you guys to know what's going on inside your market centers to stay up to speed of what trainings are going on. You can sync this training calendar to your Google Calendar. And I encourage, or your iCal, if you're, I try not to hold it against Apple people. I know you're special, but I try not to, right, Ted? Ruth, you're an Apple person, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm mixed. I have a little bit of both.
Okay.
I'm a hybrid.
So you have your intranet. Now your intranet is good for your market center to keep you up to speed of what trainings are going on. And you can sync that at the top here through your profile. Some of the things I will rush through, but that's why it's recorded in your market center tech trainers here. And you can edit your preferences here. And at the very bottom, you can say, how do I want to receive notifications about what's going on? But at the bottom is your calendar subscription. So you can sync your intranet from your market center to your phone, to your Google Calendar, because it's always good to know. And what I coach and consult is that you should probably be looking at your calendars on either end of day Friday or Sunday to set yourself up for success for the week. To say, hey, here's the trainings that I know that I need to go to be successful in my business. Right? We all know about you should be lead genning. So if you replace lead gen time for training time, erase and replace. But you should always time block. And if you felt it was important to add it to your calendar, you know, and an appointment pops up, it's okay to navigate your appointment around trainings if you feel the trainings are that valuable. Not, you know your business better than me, but just be conscious of, if you thought the training was important to go to, is it okay that I take my appointment after the time blocked for training? Just give that some thought. So that's here under your intranet, right? Which I'll bring back to the home page, just kind of show you where that was again. At the very bottom, there's intranet. Right next to that is that white pages. If you go into white pages, that's where you can search for agents inside. You can search them by name, you can search them by market center, you can search them by position. You used to be able to search by languages spoken, but that's currently been removed. I don't know if they're working on that. That was a great tool because sometimes, you know, Northern Virginia, multiple languages up here, right? I had somebody looking for a Portuguese speaking agent. So I was able to go in there and filter by a Portuguese speaking agent. But guess what? Is it potential that somebody didn't get my business because they didn't update their information appropriately? Sure is. And there's no way for me to know. So complete your profile as best you can. All right. Also, so at the top of the page, you're going to see technology. Underneath technology, I'm going to just go ahead. Oh, no, go back. Sorry. I'm going to click on technology. You're all going to make this mistake too. Sometimes you're going to click on something, but you actually want to hover. So I hover over technology. I'll see command. I'll see green sheets. No market centers that I'm aware of are doing green sheets anymore. And if you are, talk to me offline. KWLS is our listing service that pushes through command now. So you shouldn't have to worry about that anymore, other than you should want to make sure if you click on that, okay, there's a toggle button, list hub enabled. You want to make sure that that's turned on. That makes sure that when your listings come online and they come from the MLS and the KWS, it'll syndicate to about 300 other platforms that you probably never heard of, and neither did your consumers for all intents and purposes. The big ones have their direct feeds, but this list hub enabled kind of takes care of everything else. So you might just want to make sure that that's turned on. But that's a simple thing. Right below that, you've got KW email. Now, I told you your KW email is a Gmail platform. So you don't have to access that directly through KW. You just go to gmail.com and log in. But in order to log in, it's got to be set up for you if you haven't set it up yet. And you can also change your password for that through here. So you're either going to sign up for the first time or you're going to manage it. And, oh, I'm in a demo account, sorry. And there's no email accounts in this demo account. Under your manage, you'll be able to change your password, okay? And you'll be able to forward it or just log into Gmail. So basically my Gmail account is my KW email. So I go to gmail.com, I'll log in with my KW email, daviddonaldson@kw.com. That's what we're seeing here. Okay, and I will log in with my password. So that's how you get in your email. You don't have to access it from the KW backend. And what I do is I just bookmark this to my homepage. So every day when I log in, this shows up on my screen. But you can change your Gmail KW password underneath this manage your KW email account here. Okay. This change password button that is here. This is to change your KW access password for all things KW. Now, typically what happens is if you know your password, then you don't need to change your password here. You typically need to change your password because you forgot it. Now, if you need to change it because it's the first time you're logging in, you want to change it away from that really hard to memorize one, you can log in here and change your password here. You come right in, change password, and 8 characters, capital letter, lowercase letter, and a special character. And you need to make sure your reset email is in place. So that reset email is what happens if you click, I forgot my email. You receive an email notification to a third-party email. Where I recommend that it's not your KW email, I recommend it's to another email in case you're locked out completely. So that's where I would send it to. Like I do have an @Gmail account. That's kind of my catch-all. So my resets go there. So just recommendation that your third-party reset email should take you to outside of the system to reset your password. And if you ever need to, because you forgot and you couldn't get in, from command, I'm going to log out. Out here at the bottom, there's a forget email. So agent.kw.com, in case you were wondering, agent.kw.com is your command access. Right? And you'll log in with your user ID and password. And if you forgot your password, you would click that right here. All right, so I'm going to kind of come back all the way out. Now I covered everything on the white pages component of KW. Any questions around white pages or mykw.kw.com? Awesome. All right, now we're going to talk about Connect. KW Connect that I referenced earlier is essentially YouTube for KW. Okay, we have our own YouTube channel that we use for the region, but this is a private network, kwconnect.com. Okay, your user ID and password gets you into here too. There is a profile that you will want to update over here by your picture. Now this profile in here is your agent to agent facing profile. This is what other agents see. Okay, so your about me should be about you talking to other KW associates. That's where you talk about Bold, Ignite, ALC, whatever you do in your market center. Okay, you also have the ability to have specializations and showcase your performance history should you choose to do so. That also will push across here how long I've been with KW. I would say I have not been in business 20 years, so that's a little off. I don't think so. Crap, really? No, not yet. 14 years. So that's off. I was 1 year not with KW. So then you can update all this information in here. And this will push forward to command in the referral platform, just so you know. So that's this profile here is your agent to agent facing profile. So make sure you take some time completing that, okay? Now, there's a lot of things inside of Connect here, but I'm going to kind of showcase the most important elements from inside of there for you to kind of know where to go. So I come back to, just going to click on Connect here, which will bring me back home inside of Connect, okay? And across the top, there's a calendar. So you may see a regional training calendar in here, and your market center calendar may push here, but you still have to connect to it through the iCal or the Google Calendar through the intranet in order for it to sync everywhere else. This doesn't have a syncing component to it yet, but you can see trainings here. That will come through the region or through your market center if they set that up to talk to it this way. Next to calendar, we have training. Under training, you've got Connect Live. Connect Live is the most important thing that I want to show you. So I mentioned earlier about time blocking yourself for the week, right? So we have regional trainings that are important, like these classes for the next 8 weeks. KW also has multiple trainings each day, okay? So if you come into the Connect Live training schedule, and I do recommend Sundays, you can see what's going on for the next week. And sometimes they'll build it out 2 weeks. And right now they're just a week out. And you can see what is KW training on. Oh, back up a second. So today, Monday, we've got multiple offer negotiations and scripts, expand opportunities, best assistant in your business, or opportunities walkthrough Q&A. So some of these trainings are about building your business. Some of them are working in your business, like through command, right? Opportunities, or script practice, right? So you can see what they go on. And if you clicked on anyone's, what you will notice, these are in Central Time. So we're on the East Coast, so we're always an hour ahead. So be conscious of that. And in time block. Now, if you happen to say, I want to go to one of these classes, but I miss it, Connect on the live on demand is on your left-hand side. Okay, most of the classes are recorded. And if they record them, they'll put them up usually 48, 72 hours out. So you can go back and watch anything that was recorded that was put on by KWRI. So Connect Live schedule. Always good to see what's coming up for any particular week. And just so you know, tomorrow, Tuesday, I will be leading this opportunities walkthrough class if you'd like to see me train on a national level. And you may see friendly faces. Some of our Market Center Tech trainers have been featured as trainers and instructors through KWRI as well. Jerry, Ted, Kyle, myself. Someday Ruth will be out there teaching KW as a whole, which is a little bit different than what we do locally, but on the national scale. Right, Ruth?
Absolutely.
There you go.
Just add that to my list.
Absolutely. All right, so that's training. Under resources, there's a couple things, especially if you've been new. There's a welcome new associates. So our training covers almost everything that's in welcome, but sometimes you guys like to get ahead of the curve. And it just kind of outlines all the things you should be doing as a new associate. And what's your first 100 days, how to boost your associate, what trainings are there for you to watch? That's all right here for you, laid out nice and neat, what you can do. So that's under resources. All right, we know Red Day is coming up, so there's information here on Red Day. And there's where's the marketing? Oh, right there, marketing. If you're looking for your Market Center or KWRI logos, you can find them under the marketing component. You can download those here. All right, so you go into marketing, you can search by your Market Center. Not all Market Centers have custom branded logos, but a lot of them do. So you can find those under my marketing. If you have trouble with that, talk to your Market Center Tech trainer, but if you're not finding it in that element, they can point you in the right direction. Technology. A couple things I'm going to highlight for you here. Command Your Business. So the classes that we do here locally, they're all about an hour. Inside of Command Your Business, they're chunked down even smaller, right? So maybe you like to go home at the end of the day, unwind with a bottle of wine, and throw your stuff into your command a little bit. So underneath here, it's broken down just like our trains by applet, but then they take the classes and the trainings under recommended, and they're smaller videos. So tomorrow we're going to get into contacts, but in here there's smaller polished videos, anywhere less than 10 minutes, less than 3 minutes, of how to do smaller bite-sized pieces inside of Command. So I always like you guys to know that what's available to you through here, and it's broken down by, first you're going to see individual agents, but there's also team training there, because there's some subtle differences between running a team or what accessibility you have as an individual agent if you are on a team. Small differences about what you can do inside of Command. So that is underneath technology. Those are the big ticket items. You can always search here. You've got the little search bar by any topic inside of Command. Videos will show up, links, training material, docs. There's a lot of stuff in here because the agents in general, you can post it. So Brian could do a training on something that he did that he really liked. He could actually share it across the ecosystem and post that on here. So if Brian did a training class on the best open house material that he's created, he could load that here and share it with all of KW. So that's when I say you could get lost in here for days, if not weeks or years, with the amount of information that's in here. So what I highlighted are the most accessible things as a new agent you might be looking at before you take too much of a deep dive of everything that's in there. All right. Any questions on KW Connect? All right, moving on. So after KW Connect, I just want to make sure these are all things we covered. We're going to take actually I'm going to do it right now. Answers.kw.com. I mentioned earlier, it's essentially Google for KW. Okay, so inside of answers.kw.com, you could search by any topic. Like say I wanted information on contacts. I can literally just type in contacts. I spelled contacts right. Then it gives me a list of all the articles that are around contacts. If I wanted information on Kelly, which is one of our mobile apps, right, then I could type in there getting started with Kelly. If I wanted information on smart plans, which we'll talk about on Wednesday, okay, then I could search by smart plans, and there'll be all kinds of articles around how to do things step by step, and then it'll refer you back to other articles or links to other articles that may support additional things that you might be looking to do. Like I said, some people learn by watching videos. Some people need it in written word. So a lot of times people are, can you just print off a command document for me? I can't tell you how many thousands of pages that would be. So you don't actually want it printed off. You want to go here, right? You would literally have to walk over the document that was 10,000 pages deep, because we're always rewriting, because command is always being improved. So that just is an impracticality of going. So, but answers.kw.com is essentially what you're looking for when you ask me for a printed manual. Okay. At the top of kwanswers.com, or sorry, answers.kw.com, you're going to see the submit a request. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but essentially there are 3 things that typically take place when somebody says command is broken. Okay. 3. 1, and this is the 80%, you're not sure how to do what you're actually looking for it to do. There's a training element component that might be missing, that you may be struggling with. Okay. I want you to contact your Market Center tech trainer. More times than not, we can help you. Okay. More times than not, the agents don't ask for help and they get frustrated and mad and angry and vocal, which is fine. Sometimes things break. I'm cool with that. Trust me when I tell you, reach out to your Market Center tech trainer. They are here to help you. Okay. 2, you might be looking for command to do something that it doesn't do yet. So that's what we call a feature request. Right? Command does a lot, but doesn't do everything. So your Market Center tech trainers can help you understand it's not actually broken. It doesn't just do yet what you're looking for it to do. And what you're asking for it to do is a really great idea. So that kind of gets me to another link that I'll come back to in a second. Ideas are welcome by KW. Jason and Gary and Carl and Chris, sorry, our leadership, go to a website called ideas.kw.com. Write that down, ideas.kw.com. So our associates have the ability to make recommendations to what they would like to see out of command, and they can vote them up. Gary and our leadership team look at those, and they look at the ideas that come in, and they look at how much of an itch. I mean, people are saying demanding that it does something, right? So they take that very seriously. So when we talk about command as a platform that's built for agents and by agents, that's what we mean. The agents have a lot of say in what the platform does, not just through recommendations, but we have a pretty detailed labs process where we will slowly roll product out and have it tested by different agents in the field. Okay, so it's really important, a really important piece of what we do. So ideas.kw.com is there for you to make a recommendation. And if you search, there are thousands of things recommended in there. So you might find your ideas already there. By all means, vote it up and add a comment and saying, yes, this is why I need this. Don't just make the assumption that because somebody else recommended or that somebody else recommended it, right? I want you guys to all rally behind it. I've seen agents propose something, grab that link, and then start getting agents and you're sharing it with people in their office saying, hey, vote this up. We need this and we need it now. That works, right? The last thing I said, there was 3, right? So there's a training component, there's a feature request component, and then the third component is it's actually not doing what it's intended to do and something's not right. Okay. So then we need to provide what we call a ticket, submit a request. The first time you go to do this, actually every time you think you need to do this, I want you to talk to your Market Center tech trainer so they can either give you information on the first 2 or 3 and say, yes, this is down, and they're aware of it, they're not aware of it, or here's what's going on. They can give you insight, okay? I never want you to make the assumption that everything is a global issue, because it's not. I'll tell you, a lot of times I see there are one-off things, and they're isolated to user, they're isolated to computer, they're isolated to platform, they're isolated to Apple or Microsoft, right? So don't ever make the assumption that it's either global and everybody's already aware of it. I always want you to submit a ticket with your Market Center and fill this information out, because you'll be kept up to speed about what's going on when you submit a ticket. And again, that scratching, itching, how many people's it bothering matters when they're looking at making fixes. yes, unfortunately, sometimes, and I want you to understand, we all respect this, that while something may be broken and it is affecting your world, okay, and that is all that matters to you, and I respect and understand that, there is an order of preference that takes place on certain components on how quickly they can get it fixed or how many assets or resources they can put at something to improve it. So don't take it personal, but we do need you and do want you to put those tickets through. Okay. So that is submit a request. So we used to use email support@kw.com. I ask you not to do that anymore. This is the best avenue to put a ticket in because it's going to ask you all kinds of information that are specific, right? Most agents don't know what questions or what information to share around an issue. So it lacks a lot of clarity. I'll just get, hey, command's broken. Designs are broken. Contacts are broken. And if you've done any conversation with me or your market center tech trainer, you'll understand that we ask you a lot of detailed questions specifically around what you're trying to accomplish, down to the room or the design or the contact card itself, to really get insight to either recreate the challenge or isolate the challenge or see what's really going on there. So we'll ask a lot of questions. And agents themselves just don't know how to answer that when they say, because it's 7 o'clock on a Friday night, this is not working. So there's a right way to do that we can respond to you quicker, because otherwise we have to keep coming back and asking you more and more questions, and agents get frustrated with that. So that's why I always tell you to talk to your market tech trainer, because they're trained to help you troubleshoot and ask you and gather all that information first, so we don't have to keep going round and round that email merry-go-round. And we all do that. Like, hey, anytime I call for a Verizon issue at my house, right, they ask me the same set of questions every time, don't they? Have you reset your router? Right? You all want to just throw your phone through the wall sometimes, right? But they have a series of questions that they have to ask. We do the same thing. So we'll work with you on that. All right, so any questions on answers.kw.com? Did you guys all know that that was available to you? No? Yes? Maybe so? No? Okay, good. All right, so a couple other things I'll point out. We talked about KW Connect. I'm going to show you help inside of Command here in a moment, but we did talk about help through Answers, right? That was all here, how to submit a ticket. Scott Leroy. All of our market centers use a third-party company called Scott Leroy. Scott does a great job creating training materials, onboarding our associates. Most of you may have been onboarding through Scott Leroy. Our market centers do leverage him for that. So you can go to his website, scottleroymarketing.com, okay, and look at training videos or do different things. He'll upload your contacts. I do recommend you talk to your market center trainer first, okay? But the login for you guys, if you're going to Scott Leroy, it's your market center number. So you need to know what your market center number is to log in. That's all you need. That's for Scott Leroy. Our YouTube channel, which I know regional is spelled wrong here. I have to fix that on my slide. Ted shared that into chat, so you guys can follow us on our YouTube channel. And also we have a Facebook group, which I do encourage you. So Ted, if you would share the Facebook group now inside of chat and follow us. We've got about a little over 1,000 members there. I will typically communicate, the market center tech trainers will communicate about things that we are aware of that might be down at the moment, fixes that are rolled out, new improvements, quick trainings, new things, announcements. Follow us on that page and we will keep you guys up to speed as best that we can from a regional level about all things you may need to know. And that might be your first place to go to say, hey, what's going on about something, where you can see something that's been posted or ask a question to the general audience, which is typically monitored by me, the market center tech trainers, or our other agents in the region, because I encourage you all to help each other about something you may be doing or something that you're aware of. Does that sound good? Awesome. All right. Covered that, covered that, covered that, covered that. We're going to come back to downloads. All right, so I'm going to bring up Command now. Agent.kw.com is what logs you into Command. Okay. When you log into Command, you're going to land on what's called the home page. You see that I just clicked on this red KW in the upper left. And what popped out here was kind of a little navigation bar. Now you hear us talk about Command as a platform. Some people call it a CRM. It is a platform that has a CRM. CRM, for all intents and purposes, is a database. Okay. It is a platform. It's like your cell phone. Does everybody have one of these? Anybody see one of these before? No? This is new? Right? On your cell phone, you've got these things that are called apps. Okay. So in Command, think of this Command as your cell phone. It's a platform. And it has apps, or we call them applets. So on the left-hand side, we've got applets. And the first one you see is contacts. Okay. That's your CRM. Contacts, tasks, smart plans, referrals, opportunities, campaigns, reports, designs, listings, and consumer. Those are all the classes we're going to train on over the next 8 days, except for Fridays. We're going to do trainings on Fridays, Monday through Thursday. We started today, right? We will talk about every one of these applets. And the most important one that we're going to start with tomorrow is contacts. Contacts affects everything else. Okay? So we'll dive into that. Oh. My home. There we go. So on the home page, I guess I got to relog in. Okay. Even I have trouble logging in sometimes. All right, back in. So on the Command homepage, that's the little home here. You see a couple different things, and you get to customize. A lot of things about Command is fantastic. Is the customization that you have inside the platform. So what you see on your home screen is going to be different than what you see on my home screen, but you get to change that in the upper right-hand side under Customize Home. You can toggle on or off certain elements. Right? Do I want to see design updates? Maybe, maybe not. Do I need the notepad? Maybe, maybe not. Am I lead generating that I don't need to worry about leads notifications right now? And when I turn those on, it changes what's on the right-hand side. On the right-hand side, I can drag the order around. Maybe I want tasks at the top. Okay, maybe I want my designs at the top. No, I actually want product updates at the top. And play around with that. Hit apply. Okay, and then it changes your display on your home screen. So if I were just to kind of outline what you're looking at here, so tasks are anything that I have to do to move contact along or an opportunity. Phone calls, emails, or texts. What do I have to do today? Product updates. KWRI weekly will update you our improvements or changes or fixes that they rolled out inside of Command. That's what you're going to see through product updates. Okay? Goals versus actual. Have you set your goals inside of Command? Okay, and how are you performing against those goals? Design updates. When we talk about designs, it's basically new flyers or designs or magazines that are available for you to use now inside the system. That's designs. Database health score. Your health score. Do you have 100% health score? We're going to talk a little bit more about that tomorrow, but do you have enough contact information to have an established relationship with somebody? Notepad, take notes, right? And leads. So I have new leads that I need to follow up for inside of Command. So that's what you're seeing on this screen. Here's my product update. But you see here, last week's updates, week before. And then also if on that toggle, what's new, there's what's next. They'll tell you what's the big ticket items that are coming out quarterly. So you can always kind of toggle back and forth to see what's going on inside of Command. So that's your dashboard. That's your home screen. Okay. You've got this little purple guided tour button here. As Command does more and more things, okay, there are these step-by-step tutorials that are built inside the platform for you. That's guided tours. Here's, if you click on that now, it's going to walk you through what's on this home screen, just like I just did. Okay, so that's guided tours. You've got a little question mark on the upper right-hand side. If you click on that, you're going to see guided tours. So you can guided tour by certain areas as they build those out. Keller Williams University, where you could search by topic, that's looking through answers.kw.com. That's what that's kind of fishing through there, okay? Chat with support. You can actually get online and chat with support. Now, I spent a lot of time talking to you earlier that I want you to talk to your Market Center Tech Trainer first, but sometimes they're not readily available. So you can go to Get in Touch and do a live chat with somebody. Well, here's the challenge, I'm not gonna lie, with live chat. Live chat is there to support you, anything that may be wrong, okay? That's why we encourage you to search by topic and answers first. However, a lot of the agents still will bog down chat asking training questions. Okay. And that sets a longer time than they can respond to those that are in urgent need. So it's really important that you try to troubleshoot or advocate for yourself before you attack chat, because either you're putting somebody behind or you're going to find that you may be waiting. Just wanted you to be aware. That's what live chat does. Okay. So only go to live chat if you're really having a problem. And your market center says, yeah, go to the live chat, get a hold of those guys. All right. So at the top of the screen, you're going to see Marketplace. We'll take a deeper dive into that, but KW has some partnerships with some other companies that we can add. You can pay for services through in the back end. This bell notification is where you're going to say, hey, a contact reached out to you, somebody texted you, somebody emailed you. You have a little red dot next to that bell. We'll talk more about that tomorrow through contacts, and we talk about some of the mobile platforms in Kelly that you have at your disposal. Then over here, you've got your drop down. Profile, settings, training, and logout. Ooh, too fast. This profile is a little, I don't like where it's placed. This profile is your agent to agent profile. Remember we talked about Connect earlier and the profile that was on Connect? That's what's going to show up here under profile. This is not your consumer facing profile. Okay, it's important to know that. This is your agent to agent profile. But if any updates you make here will also update inside of Command or Connect, sorry. Connect talks to Command through this profile for your agent to agent profile. Below that, you have settings. Inside of settings are the kind of the big ticket items that KW says you need to have these set up in order for your platform to work well. We'll take a deeper dive on all these elements and how they tie back to the different outlets, but I'm just going to tell you what's here right now. Your order of connection is going to be different than mine. Okay, you're going to see DocuSign. Most of your market centers use DocuSign. So you're going to have a DocuSign account connected. Not all of you use it. Some still use Dotloop, and that's okay. But DocuSign is the free version for contract writing that we provide for you. So you're going to connect your DocuSign account. Your market center tech trainer will help you through any challenges you have setting anything up in configuration here. You're going to see two places to connect Facebook. When we dive into campaigns next week, you're going to understand why. But essentially, it's this. One is for paid advertising. Okay, you can run ads through Facebook to generate leads that will connect to your business page, through your business page, sorry. The other one is social media posts, which will allow you to post directly to your business page for free. There's no cost to that. But there's a difference between paid advertising and social posts and scheduling. So that's why you have two different connectors there in the back end. And when you do configure those accounts, you will actually log in through your personal, but all posting will be done through your business page. Any detailed questions, contact your market center tech trainer. They'll walk you through all that. So the same, you're going to see a Twitter connection. So if you do tweet, you can connect that. Google Calendar, you're going to want to set up your calendar so you can talk to it and schedule appointments through there, right? Gmail, you do want to connect your KW email account, because every time you email a client, okay, or your freemium email or through your business email, it'll track that communication and tie it back to your contact record. So if I email Ted today, send him an email from my David Donaldson at kw.com, it makes a record of it on Ted's contact record that I sent him an email today. I don't necessarily get to see the context of that email. They're working on some better clarity around that, but it'll track that I sent Ted an email today. So just so you know that it's how that's what that connector does for you. PieSync is a third party that we use. So if you're moving from one platform to another, PieSync will talk to other platforms and import a lot of that data. The best example for most of you, who has Google on their phone? Google Contacts. Anybody use Google Contacts? So you could take all of your Google Contacts and sync it through PieSync to Command. And that's how I have it set up on my phone. So that every time I add a new contact on my phone, it automatically adds that contact to Command for me. That's through PieSync. And every time I update that contact record inside of Command, it updates that contact back on Google through PieSync. What's going on here? So that's that third-party integration. So again, if you feel you need to set up PieSync, I'm going to tell you, talk to your market center tech trainer, okay? So I don't know if I'm having an issue or there's something going on at the moment, but you notice I'm getting some latency here. At the bottom of that settings page, you're going to see a couple other things. You're going to see a KW email and a Twilio account. We'll dive deeper in those, but just so you need both. When we start talking about smart plans, you're going to be able to text through the platform, and our texting partner is a company called Twilio. Okay, Twilio allows us to bulk text and auto text. It does not track texting through your cell phone number. You actually be given a third-party number. Okay, and that's what Twilio will allow you to do. We'll talk about that when we set up campaigns in more detail. The command email platform, if anybody's used MailChimp, it functions very similarly to MailChimp, but you get 5,000 free emails through KW. You don't have to pay for MailChimp. It's not fully integrated the way MailChimp does. We're still working on that a little bit. But when you send out emails through campaigns, when we talk in that more detail, the email will not come from your KW email. There's no way for it to recognize that. However, it'll come out from David Donaldson, but it'll be a different email address, but your consumers won't get confused. Nobody ever looks at it. It'll be daviddonaldson.mail.kw.com. But if they ever respond to that email, it comes into my KW email and it tracks all that way. But it's just the way that the auto generator emails, the way that those are set up, has to have a plugged in third party. And it's no different from any other CRM tool, just so you know. That's how that works. It has to have a standalone email to work from. So those are at the bottom of the page. But we'll keep going back to that settings page as we walk through each of the components and applets and what needs to be turned on for you through each of the classes over the next 8 days. All right, so one other thing before we break apart today, I want you to download 2 apps. One is called Kelly, K-E-L-L-E, okay? Right now, and I'm gonna put a video out, you'll see this on the YouTube channel a little bit later, but Kelly was our first foray into a command version of a command app, command mobile, if you will. Kelly is being sunset, that's the word, not put asleep is the wrong word. She's being sunset. And I want you to think of Kelly essentially at this point as a pager. You know, some of you aren't old enough to know what a pager is, so I date myself a little bit. But a pager was what all the cool kids wore in high school in the 80s if they needed to be beeped. Brian, you look like somebody who had a beeper, am I right?
Once upon a time, yeah, I might have had a beeper.
So I want you to think of Kelly as your beeper, okay? She's good for nothing but notifications at this point. You'll get an alert that somebody's trying to reach out to you, but you can't respond back through Kelly. Right, I'm going to put a video out later today and I'll show you how to add a workaround that will work really well for you on your phones to how to plug in the command. There is not a command mobile app at this point. We're actually live beta testing that right now, and that's something we'll have in our hands over the next couple of months. But I'm going to give you a workaround. So if you follow the Facebook page today, you'll see a video on that. I'm going to share that, how to download that. The second app that I want you to download is your actually branded KW mobile app. So that app is your consumer app. And when you log into that, you're going to need to create a generic account. I don't want you to log in with your KW user ID and password because it won't work that way. Because it will only look at you as a consumer. So like I have mine set up under my son's name, just kind of the difference. But that's what you're going to, I want you to get comfortable with. And we'll talk about it when we get into the consumer class on Monday. And it's what you're going to share with your consumers so that they can search real estate through a mobile app, and you can kind of communicate with them on that platform. So those are the things that I do want you to download today. Kelly, we're going to talk about Command Mobile, which I'm going to post the video on later today, and KW mobile app. The next set of classes, today was orientation. Tomorrow will be contacts. Wednesday, smart plans. Thursday, opportunities. Next week, we'll cover consumer designs, campaigns, and referrals. 1 hour every day in this format, different trainers, different sessions. There'll be more ability for Q&A as we go on. Typically what I'll do is I'll open up live chat. You guys can ask questions in there. And at the end of the class, we'll go open forum just so we can kind of cover everything. So was there anything that I didn't cover today that you guys thought you needed to hear about that won't be covered in one of these future classes? Go ahead and ask away. So I see 14 questions in chat. Has everything been addressed in there, Ted? Is there anything that needs to be answered? Ted or Ruth, were you guys conversation with anybody in there that I didn't cover?
I think,
Oh, it looks like you covered everything.
yeah.
All right, well, perfect. Well, thanks for joining us today, everybody. I will see you all tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel, 10 o'clock, kwregion12training.com, password 1234. And we'll get you guys all up to speed on everything.
Thank you.
Coming.
Right, bye-bye.